to revenue. So you cannot just make a statement and look at a particular expense and say in a county budget that is an expenditure of the general fund, because a lot of those things that show up are really revenue offset from both federal or state programs or from some sort of grant from an agency or so forth. So you really have to spend time on the general fund expenditures. Just a couple of quick things that we're looking at over the next few months is reviewing TOT revenues and our collection efforts. I don't think it's any secret to anybody that we've had a number of our partners out there in the lodging industry who haven't paid their TOT revenues, and we've gone to court to recover those, but that has hurt some funding for our general fund. We're working with our local law enforcement agencies and our district attorney to determine potential cost savings, because when we define local law enforcement, who the local cities choose to arrest and prosecute and give probation violations eventually ends up in the hands of our district attorney and eventually ends up in either court or public defenders and so forth. So we're going to be taking a look at that. We're suggesting that we need a review of the current staffing plan and the appropriate personnel classifications in the water agencies. We have had some discussions, our office, with our water agency manager, that with the increased emphasis on water conservation and all of the new regulations, that we do need to take a look at are we staffed up properly in that agency, and we will be undertaking that. We will be increasing our automation efforts and providing additional online access to program materials for the public. We are funding some additional funds to public access television in the Ukiah Valley, which will increase our presence here, and working with our other partners to get our message out. We intend to review potential revenues from developer impact fees, the AB 1600 that's out there, and a number of other sources. We've made a commitment to the Board of Supervisors that we'll continue our discussion with the ambulance providers and fire districts with the goal of finding a stable funding source for them. We're just starting a project to reduce the general fund subsidy to the solid waste division. We're looking at opportunities for regionalization of our services and new partnerships with local cities. We're all in this together, and we need to find a survival strategy. And finally, we're reviewing the status of the courts facilities in Willits due to a possible closure. As we go through courts transfer facilities legislation, there are a number of things that we need to undertake, and the courts has reductions on their side too. This is not just one-sided. As each action the state takes, it does create other actions through other agencies, and the court has expressed some concerns just in their own funding cutbacks. Will they have the funds to run those facilities in Willits, and will they have the possibility to come down here? That will create other problems for us, because if the courts have to come down here from Willits, obviously we need to look for some additional facilities for our district attorney staff in that building. So we all are tied at the hip in various ways. As far as the mechanism is how we went about this current budget, we did ask for department heads to prepare for a 6% reduction in their budgets. However, not all departments could absorb these cuts without affecting their current service level to the public or other county departments. In our review with departments, the Auditor Controller's Office and the CEO's office met individually with department heads, and most of those departments that we met with had already been reduced to the bare bones budget. We felt they could not further reduce, in all cases, their budget requests. We feel we're fortunate because we've been able to fully fund the library programs at the same net county cost as last year, Public Defender's Office, and law enforcement at the current level. We do have an ongoing dialogue occurring with the Sheriff's Department regarding funding for the Sheriff's Department and the jail, and we're working toward an understanding of our points of difference in levels of services and basic needs. This proposed funding will include money for all allocated positions in both the Sheriff's Department and the jail, less a vacancy factor, which we've applied before, and no layoffs are recommended for the current fiscal year. Finally, the Executive Office would like to recognize the contributions both financially and professionally of county departments and for their staff in assisting in the preparation of the proposed budget. The process has been difficult and does not represent anyone's ideal budget. However, it does maintain core services to the public. In order to prevent further reductions in both service programs and staffings in the near future, the county needs to develop a new business model that will provide stable funding for all general fund departments that are part of the essential business functions provided to the public. A balanced approach to new long-term revenue sources and development of our local economy will be needed to allow the county to move forward with a sound fiscal plan to improve its fiscal health independent of the state of California's financial impacts. That is sort of an overall statement about where our budget is. I was thinking a lot over the last few days, with the passing of a great American in Tim Russert, and the loss of what he gave to each of us in the community, and especially those of us in public service. And I was thinking about what would I use with a little whiteboard that says, how Tim Russert used to always do, and he'd have his 3 points that he'd highlight all the time to just drive his point home. And I was thinking, how could I get that same message across with the way he did that? And I went through various things, and I thought, well, okay, 3 years ago we had a whole milk budget, and then last year we had a skim milk budget, and this year we have a non-fat budget. And I don't know what it would be the next time around. Would it be a powdered milk budget? So I was looking for some analogies here. Maybe a goat's milk budget.
A whey.
A whey budget.
Yeah.
So, but we're at a serious crossroads in California, both at the state level and at the local level. I think we have the leadership in place. We have a terrific organization. We have very talented individuals working for us. We have very creative people that work in the community. What I've seen that we lack more than anything in the 9 months I've been here is a willingness of people to put aside their differences and engage at a level that we can work together and put aside past differences. I think the framework of what we're talking with this budget is a framework that we're presenting from the executive office standpoint, that we're prepared to engage with our partners. We're prepared to engage and talk about the new model of how it is we're going to do business in Mendocino County that will be good for the citizens that we all serve. So thank you for your time, and I think the next step in the process here is Allison, I'll defer to you. I don't know if you're presenting first or if Jennifer's presenting first.
Hello, Allison Glassy, Assistant CEO. I'm not presenting first, but I will just very quickly review the agenda here. We're going to start off with talking about the current revenue projections, and Meredith Ford, Auditor Controller, is going to present that. Jennifer will give you a brief update then on the fund balance carryover, and then move into the going through the spreadsheet budget unit by budget unit, and we're going to save my presentation as kind of a summarization, which will likely happen in the afternoon, because the going through the spreadsheet budget unit by budget unit or department by department will likely take up until noon, and then we'll reconvene after lunch to continue that. So
A comment, and maybe